Today we'll look at how to copy simulation objects from one sim to another. Here I have an assembly FEM and an assembly sim that consists of 4 brackets and 1 FADEC. Here the bracket has its own sim where we've defined some simulation objects and constraints. Here we have a fixed constraint, we have a G-load on the bracket sim, and also some edge to surface glue to connect our gusset into our bracket. And we'd like to bring some of those simulation objects up to our assembly sim. To do that, we'll right-click on the bracket FEM. From the assembly sim, we'll select the bracket sim, and then we have some options. We can either import all entities, or we can graphically select objects that we want, or we can select them from a list. So here I don't want the 10G load, but I do want the fixed constraint. I want the edge gluing, and also the associated regions to the edge glue. So we'll bring all those objects in. We could also bring in the solution, but we won't. And then we have some source simulation options. Here we can select simulation entity name suffix or prefix. So we'll leave the suffix in there and say OK. And then if we take a look at the objects that we've imported, you'll see the edge glue with that suffix that we had assigned from the bracket sim name. Now, since we have 4 instances of the bracket in our assembly, you can see that it's brought in 4 sets of glue corresponding to those brackets, as well as 4 sets of fixed constraints. Now, since we've imported those entities, they've only gone into the constraint container and not into the solution. So let's go ahead and deactivate one of our 2 subcases that was already active, and we'll add those constraints to our solution, to our active solution. And we'll do the same with our glue. So now you can see in the global simulation object container and our global constraint container, we have our objects in our solution, and we're ready to solve.